Where are my helpers to help me with the actions? I can't do the actions and the guitar at the same time. Well, right on cue. I guess we can do the actions now, can't we? Wow, we can have our Sunday morning now. Hello everybody. We're going to sing a relatively new song, but my helpers, now they've arrived, can help us with the actions. This is called Kids of the Kingdom, and it's a song all about how those of us who trust in Jesus can be called kids of the kingdom, whether we're this tall, or me tall if I stand up. Let's sing together.
Good morning, boys and girls. It's old John here. I hope you're all well. I hope school or preschool is going well. And this morning, do you like to play guessing games? I love guessing games. And you've got one to do this morning right now. So I've got 5 things or 5 objects that I have covered over with a dark cloth, so you can't see them, but you can see a little bit of their shape and sometimes maybe a sound or two, and I want you to try and guess what they are. So they'll come one after the other, and you can stop the video at any point if you want to have a careful look at that thing, and then when you've finished, I'm going to run through what they actually were by lifting the cloth off so that you can see what that thing is or was. I hope you enjoy it. Ready to watch object number 1. Object number 1. Object number 2. Object number 3. Object number 4. And object number 5. So object number 1 was a guitar. Object number 2 was a milk bottle. Object number 3 was a toy toaster. Object number 4 was a deck chair. And object number 5 was our dog. His name is Winston. I wonder how you got on. Did anybody get 5 out of 5? 4, 3, 2, 1, or maybe even 0? Well, some of them were a bit easier than others, weren't they? I think the guitar one was fairly easy, and maybe the chair. But the other ones, well, you might have found it difficult, especially the toy toaster. If you've never seen a toy toaster before, that was really difficult. Anyway, it's amazing, isn't it, that sometimes we don't think about how good our eyes are that help us to see things clearly. And there's so many things we can see with our eyes, like our friends, like trees, like rivers, like mountains, like the sea. All of these things we can see because of our eyes. But have you ever thought, what would it be like if you couldn't see very well, or you couldn't see at all? Now, you might know somebody who can't see very well or who can't see at all. So you might know something about what their lives are like. And in this country, there's a lot of things, a lot of help that blind people can get so that they can live and they can work. But in the time when Jesus was on earth, it was very difficult for people who couldn't see to get by every day. And we're going to hear now about a man who was blind who met Jesus.
Jesus was walking through the city of Jericho on his way to Jerusalem. His disciples were with him, and lots of other people followed behind, waiting to see what he might say or do next. Jesus knew what was going to happen to him when he got to Jerusalem. He would be taken to the leaders of the Jewish people. They didn't believe that he really was the Son of God, and they would hand him over to the Romans, who would crucify him on a cross. Now there was a man in Jericho called Bartimaeus, or Barty for short. Barty was blind. He couldn't see. He couldn't work, so to get money, he begged. He sat in the street all day, every day, asking people to give him money and hoping that he would be given enough money to be able to get something to eat. People weren't always kind to him, and that made him very sad. One day, he heard a lot of excited people coming towards where he was sitting. Barty heard them talking about Jesus, and he realized that Jesus was with them. Barty had heard about Jesus because everybody was talking about this amazing teacher, that's what some people called him, who could heal people by the power of God. Barty knew This might be his one big chance. "Jesus!" he yelled at the top of his voice. "Jesus, Son of David, please help me!" Suddenly, lots of people were shouting at Barty. "Shut up, you silly man," said one person. "Be quiet. Jesus hasn't got time for you," said another. Then another said, "Hush, the teacher won't be interested in you." But Barty really wanted Jesus to help him. He wanted Jesus to heal him, and he believed that he would. So he kept on shouting. "Jesus!" he yelled again. "Please help me!" Suddenly, Jesus stopped and looked at him. "Tell him to come here," he said to the people around him. When the people realized that Jesus was going to take notice of Barty, they began to be kinder to him. They gently told him not to be afraid, but to go to Jesus. Well, Barty was so excited that he jumped up and ran to Jesus. How hard it must have been for a blind man to run through a crowd of people and find him. Suddenly, he could feel someone warm and kind. A soft voice spoke close to his ear. "Barty, what do you want me to do for you?" It was Jesus. "Teacher," said Barty, "I want to see." "Okay then," said Jesus. "Because you believe that I can make you see, you'll be able to. Open your eyes." Barty opened his eyes and quickly shut them again. Everything was so bright. Suddenly he opened one eye, and then slowly the other eye. He could see. He was so happy, and he decided straight away to join the people who were following Jesus.
That was amazing. 4 things for us to remember from that story. Number 1, Jesus wanted to help Barty, even though he was on his way to Jerusalem, and he knew he would be crucified on a cross. Number 2, Barty was important to Jesus, even though people in the crowd didn't think so. Number 3, Barty really wanted to meet Jesus, and he didn't let other people stop him from crying out for help. He believed that Jesus would make him see again. And number 4, Jesus healed Barty, and straight away Barty decided to follow Jesus. Now, before the video ends, there'll be 2 or 3 things that you could do at home in order to help you remember some of the things we've talked about today. I'll see you soon. You could create a poster of pictures of amazing things you can see with your eyes. It could be on the computer like this one with an adult helping you, and it can be printed off or used as a screensaver. Or you could use pictures from magazines and stick them on paper. Or you could draw your own scenes and colour them in. You could make a badge. This one is using a spare badge holder that people use for work. Just need to cut paper to fit the badge holder and put your message on it. Also, you could make a pin badge.
Or you could create a poster using Scrabble letters. And lastly, you could write out a memory verse from Mark's Gospel. This is verse 52 of chapter 10, and kind of sums up the story that we've been listening to.